Individual responsibility will make your life worth living. Over the course of my life, going to other organizations, individual responsibility is something that the vast majority of human beings are really missing. And the reason we're missing it is because our parents probably did a shit job of explaining to us how important it is to actually have a job around the house and the repercussions of not doing it. On top of that, some of the wisest people that have children have always said that it is so important to make sure that when kids are small, that they're actually involved in the process of making decisions around the house. Why? Because if you constantly say to someone that your opinions don't matter, or that the things that you are saying are irrelevant because they're not developed, you encourage people not to develop. And that's a very important concept to think about in school and all the way through the graduation of school and into your career life, is the vast majority of employers and administration don't actually want to hear your opinion because that makes them have to do more work. They have usually not seen what the other side of the thing is. They usually have not seen your vision. And because we lack the leadership skills and the communication skills, oftentimes we can't communicate the transformation that occurs if that vision becomes a reality. And so over time, we kind of get battered down and our individual responsibility decreases because we think to ourselves, hey, what does it matter about my opinion anyway? Nothing's going to change. For usually about 3 reasons. One is obviously the administration thing. The environment around you is not encouraging you to voice your opinion and actually do something about it. 2, even if you do voice your opinion and start to do something about it, there's a very good chance that in youth, we don't have the skills to actually execute it, to actually finish off and get the end result that we're looking for. And so we never really have a great chance to see our vision become reality because we're still learning the skills on how to execute. And that's part of the reason that I built out the Thrivify network and the internships and stuff, because I want to give people, students, the skills to actually execute on those missions. And one of the other largest issues is that school is really temporary, right? School in general tends to only last about 4 years before you go off to another institution. And by virtue of that, you don't get to see something like a larger idea materialize. There's a quote, we overestimate what we can accomplish in 1 year, and we underestimate what we can accomplish in 5. Usually it takes about 3 years to start building the momentum, and it takes probably about another 2 to actually see it sustainable. So school tends to not be the length that's required to actually make that vision a reality. So you have these 3 circumstances that are occurring constantly, among others, but these are the main ones that come to mind immediately that really reduce the sense of individual responsibility. And so I wanted to make sure that I cover why individual responsibility is so important in my life and why I think that if each of us had more of it, that society would be better and the systems that we have in place would be better, and actually life satisfaction would be improved too. I've come across all the problems that I've stated in my education. And, by virtue of that, I got kind of upset. Whereas some people might get beat down by not being able to finish, I got upset. And what upset me was that I didn't have the skills to do what needed to be done. And that upset me so much that I decided I need to get them. I heard people like Tony Robbins and Grant Cardone and these other coaches, personal development coaches online. And I said to myself, okay, you're probably nothing compared to these people. Hell, I didn't even have that thought process. I was like, oh yeah, I can be like Grant Cardone and Tony Robbins. I was like, yep, I got this. So I started recording videos every day. And what I learned is that when I took that responsibility upon myself, without anyone telling me really, of recording these videos and painting and drumming every day, that I started to feel a lot better about myself. And that translated into having more productive conversations with my friends, my peers, my mentors, the administration, but it also led to better results in the things that I wanted to become realities. And that's kind of the most important thing. If you don't see results, you're never going to want to do something. For those of you that are looking to get out of the rat race, or are looking to get more out of life, are looking to be more substantial, are looking for your words to impact people more deeply, all of those concepts are super important to have discipline. And with discipline, it's kind of this flywheel. Discipline is this flywheel that allows us to kind of keep building up who we are, what we are, our identity, while creating a lot of room for our ideal results to happen. And so it's a positive loop that when you become disciplined, you will see more results. And so with individual responsibility backed by your discipline, you start being able to see data that I can actually execute and constantly build it. Now, the last part of individual responsibility is really a knowledge and a philosophy. Philosophy is one of those things that takes a really long time to ingrain. And by virtue of that, it's not a great thing to start off with without having metaphors and stuff. I think actionable stuff is what people are looking for. The philosophy is like this. We come from nature, right? We come from the natural world. The important concepts in nature and the natural world is the concept of abundance. Abundance is basically, my understanding is, religion was created around a need, a yearning for having more than you need. And not only you having more, but everyone or everything, well, mostly everyone. We didn't really care about everything for a long time. Well, we stopped caring. Everyone around you having more than they need so that their potential could be unlocked. And the natural world does this in wonderful ways. The basic metaphor is a tree, an apple tree, for instance. Any fruit tree, if you look at it, it bears way more fruit than it needs to necessarily have young, right? It needs to have another tree bloom. And it doesn't discriminate what creatures eat from its branches or from its roots or from any of its byproducts, right? Like the leaves that fall off of a tree, it doesn't choose what microbes and what fungus end up breaking down those leaves and create their own lives. So everything in nature seems to have this ingrained mechanism producing way more than it necessarily needs to survive. And by virtue of that, it almost guarantees its survival, barring circumstances that are random and chaotic, like a meteor falling or something, right? If everything goes smoothly, being the most productive and providing the most that you possibly can will necessarily lead to survival. And for humans, survival is different. For each human, survival is actually different. Because when you are like myself and you have an intellect that requires more of you, doing more in life actually is required to survive, because then you're contrasted by the sense of, well, if I'm not doing shit, why the hell am I even alive? That's where that individual responsibility starts becoming a buffer to our consciousness, is if we're doing the very most and we're satisfied with what we're doing, we buffer ourselves from believing that this life is not worth living. And that's kind of the thing that I wanted to end with here. Individual responsibility will make your life worth living. Actualize your potential catalyst. This world needs you.